If I said it once, I'll say it a million times, dude. Your buddies teach you the coolest stuff. I was out with my buddy Phil yesterday, and I got schooled again. Maybe not totally schooled, kind of schooled, right?
Gotta be, yeah. Is that a real one?
He caught some bigger ones than me, and bro, he was doing something in this heavy cover that makes absolute sense, but me, the big flipping, pitching, punching guy, I never really kind of thought about approaching it like that. But what he was doing makes so much sense and it's so easy. I wanted to take that and combine it with what I'm doing. I'm gonna show you a sneaky little thing. We're gonna see if it actually works because I think it's gonna be bad to the bone when it comes to fishing a lot of this thick stuff when the heat turns up in the dead of summer and catching some big bass. But we're gonna have to see because I don't know if it'll work. So let me run through this rig and to give you an idea what Phil was doing and what I was doing. So I was punching standard, right? Creature bait, flipping those mats, braid, you know, the whole standard setup. He was using a much lighter weight, like a 1/2 ounce, maybe a 3/4 ounce, and he was actually using a stick bait in the mats. That's something, it makes so much sense, but like I never thought about it. So what we're gonna do is, this is a fat ace, so it's a little thicker than your standard kind of like Yum Dinger stick bait. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm going to split this thing right at the worm sack right there. This is a new color too. It's that golden shiner. You guys saw me use it as a chatterbait trailer. Absolutely sick color, dude. I don't care if you're in Florida or anywhere, Wisconsin, Gunners, it doesn't matter. It's pretty badass. But then what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up with this little kind of stub, kind of chode Ned kind of stick bait, you know, kind of fat, but still kind of short and compact and super streamlined, right? It'll slide through just about anything. I'm gonna take this little 1 ounce kind of punching rig. This is a Hack Attack hook, double bobber stopper, Hog Tech tungsten weight, and I'm going to just push it on there like I would like a standard, you know, creature style bait. Just like this. So what I'm getting is the benefits of a straight shank hook that's snelled. You got your punching weight, but you have an extremely streamlined type kind of bait that's literally going to just spin and dart as it goes down. The other thing that I'm thinking too is a lot of times I'll use this yo-yoing presentation when I'm flipping and pitching this time of year to kind of trigger these fish. There's a lot of bluegill, there's a lot of brim kind of dashing around on brim beds and things along those lines. And what it'll do is this tail, it's doing it already. See how the tail's like wagging? When I'm yo-yoing this and like moving it up and down under the mats, like it's going to dance, dude. It's gonna dance a lot more than those kicking appendages that you normally get on a creature style bait. And I think I'm gonna be able to trigger a lot more bites on that secondary or that follow-up kind of pop and, you know, pump kind of thing, like things along those lines versus just the drop, because most of your bites usually come on just the drop. This is gonna have a lot more dimensionality to it because I'll be able to work it just like you'd work kind of like a stick bait in the grass. So let's get out there, let's give it a try. There's one. Okay, look how clear that water is. Get in here. Bro, that's like a freaking 4-pounder. Yeah. So, yeah, she ate the old sticky dickler. See that? Perfect hook set. Don't got to worry about an offset shank not popping. That's like 3.5, 3 3/4. But that's a solid one, dude. It works. So one thing I noticed real quick about using kind of a straight shank snelled hook with this thing is you want to hook it a little above the center. So you don't want to go dead center in the worm, just a little bit above. Otherwise, it tends to kind of make the worm angle when you actually embed the hook like Texas style. So you just kind of do that, and then what ends up happening is that keeper comes out and it's not like pushing the worm in kind of a weird angle, and then you can just embed it and Texas rig it, and you get a much straighter deal. And I think that's important for that fall because it's going to do that gliding fall. And then it's also important, you want that water to stream along that tail because that's how you get that natural sort of waving, sort of chittery action. That's one. Get out of there. another good one, dude. Bro, I pumped it once, and she just came up and freaking snatched it right through the schnozzerola, dude. Right in the snout. Oh, hells yeah. I think Mikey is figuring out an alternative to the BB cricket. Back you go into that beautiful water. Nice little show at the end. So there's a couple ways I'm presenting this thing, and I don't care if you're fishing, I don't know, like floating grass like this, matted stuff, or limbs, or a dock. Basically, you're gonna pitch it out, and you're gonna let that thing sink to the bottom. Actually, I think I just got a bite. No, I did not. Bottom's kind of hard. What you're gonna do is just let it for maybe a half second, kind of feel it, watch your line. I thought I had a bite, I lifted, checked, there's nothing there. So you're going to go ahead and just lift a little bit. That is a bite. It's just a little guy though. Okay. So he bit it on the way down, and then he actually, he dropped it. And when I did that yo-yoing technique, he came back and got it. That's pretty darn cool. And I think that's where this is going to show off, is in that yo-yo, because that tail is going to kind of dabble. So the other presentation, and it's sort of along the lines of that, most of the time your bites are gonna come on that initial drop. You know, when it drops through, it's a reaction strike, it's gonna go straight through. They're gonna see it, they're gonna dart to it and just eat it on the reaction, especially when you're using a slightly heavier weight. The other one though that I like to do is pitch to your cover, let it go on through, hit the bottom, you know, you check it, see if there's anything there, and then you go ahead and you raise it up so the bait's almost leaning against the cover. You can do this with limbs, you can do it with dock posts, you can do it with grass like we're doing here, and I think it looks a lot like a brim, kind of using that cover and just sitting against it so it's a barrier between them and whatever predator fish are around. And then you just kind of slowly follow it to the bottom. All right, that's enough for that kind of place, and then you move on. But I think with this whole stick bait deal with this tail, even though you're not moving it, it's gently twitching as it's leaning against that cover and sitting there. So it has this really kind of natural, sort of twitchy, subtle action for these early summer fish. That's another good one. I actually saw him run through the mat, dude. That's a freaking 4, dude. That's a freaking big one. That is a big one. Look at that, dude. I saw this fish, so they're running on brim, and that's why I think the stick bait's so cool, is because they're running on these brim, and that stick bait falls through so fast, but it like waggles, almost like it's getting chased. God, he got it, dude. Gotta get her back. That was a cool bite. That's a beautiful fish. So simple. So freaking easy, and yet I've never done it, dude. I gotta send a shout out to my buddy Phil too. I would have never thought of this if he wasn't like plunking around, literally punching mats with a ½ ounce weight and a little stick bait, dude. Like, it's kind of a cool concept. It's not perfect for every situation, there's no doubt. Sometimes you're gonna wanna throw that beaver style bait, that creature style bait, a cross style bait like my BB cricket. But when this thing really comes in handy is when you're looking for something compact. You're looking for something where you can downsize your weight. It takes a lot less weight to get this through cover, whether it's mats, trees, you know, skipping around a dock. And also it's downsized in the sense that it's bite size. I missed very few fish on this. Lost one like 5 to 6 pounder, great big one. But the majority of fish, it was donk, or I'd feel that hold, I'd reel down, set up, and bang. The other nice part is, just like we throw like a weightless Senko, it has a lot of weight to it, right? Even a little half chunk like this is the fat ace, so it's a little bit bigger, but even a half chunk like this has some bulk and has some weight to it. So even if you do go down to a lighter weight, it's very easy to fling this thing, pitch it, cast it, skip it, whatever you want to do. The other thing is it's a perfect brim mimic or bluegill mimic. And right now, I'm a strong believer, yes, there's some shad stuff going on, they'll eat some gizzard shad, but on the majority of lakes, dude, it's all about brim and bluegill during the summer. And these stick baits are perfect like mimics for it, and they come in a million colors, so you can match the hatch or match the brim that are on your lake practically perfectly. Plus it's different, dude. It's totally different. I don't think I've ever met somebody other than flipping like pads and emergent style cover who actually punched through cover with a freaking cut down stick bait. It's kind of different and kind of cool. It fits that whole finesse power fishing kind of philosophy that I've been practicing the past couple of years. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys got anything to add, or if you've tried this and made some tweaks, because I'm sure there's a lot of little mods and hacks you can do with a rig like this, drop them down in the comments box. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm going to put links to all this stuff, that Tackle Warehouse, Monster Bass, whatever, down in the description box if you guys want to check it out and try flipping a little sticker doodle just like that. But I'm going to go say hi to Bog. He's going to be super jealous because he loves mat fishing. But later, my homies, we'll see you back out on the water talking fishing and hanging out.